Hello and welcome to the 79 News where the stories shine like gold.
That's right, folks. Buckle up, because today you're in for a ride. Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Helia Newton.
And I'm John Dalton, and boy, do we have some stories for you.
That's right, John. Today's headliners are a doozy. Mice have infested the world's largest cherry. An 8-year-old kid broke the world record for solving 3 Rubik's Cubes with both his hands and his feet.
And lastly, a mother-daughter duo were arrested in Pensacola, Florida after hacking into the school's computer system and flooding the ballots for homecoming queen with votes for the daughter. Now, Helia, can you believe that?
I really can't, John.
You know, funny enough, that's how I won my homecoming queen.
Oh, is it now?
It is. I looked so snazzy in my little dress.
Okay, well, I'm moving on from that. Before we get into those stories, we will be starting off today with an interview with 2 students from Moravian College who are here to answer some questions and tell us all about a drug called Metoprolol.
That's right, Helia. Metoprolol is a very common drug, and we here at 79 News think that it's important to stay informed. And so we figured we would use our platform to try and tell you guys about a drug that either you might be taking or a loved one might be taking, and so I think it's nice to, stay in the know.
That's right, John. So, I believe we should have them here live. Are they going to show up on the monitor?
Oh, okay, we got it now. Can you guys hear us okay? Yeah, we can hear you great, John. Perfect. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves and tell us a little about why you're here?
Hi, I'm Rachel.
My name's Elliot, and we are junior biochemistry majors at Moravian College, and we are currently taking a bioorganic and medicinal chemistry class.
Yes, and we are here because we have been doing a lot of research about a drug called Metoprolol, and we wanted to tell you a little bit about it and answer any questions you might have.
That's fantastic. Now, Rachel and Elliot, I am quite possibly the furthest thing from a doctor.
You got that right.
And I have no idea what Metoprolol is, other than that my father takes it, and Helia does when I raise her blood pressure. So what exactly is it, what is it used for, and where did it come from?
Great question. So Metoprolol is a drug used to treat high blood pressure, prevent angina, and improve survival after a heart attack. It is a beta blocker which functions to slow heart rate and relax blood vessels in order to improve blood flow and lower blood pressure. So it was first made in 1969, it was patented in 1970, and it was approved for use in 1982.
So the idea of beta blockers being used as drugs started with a man named Sir James Black, who wanted to stop the expression of adrenaline in the heart, which he hypothesized would decrease chest pain in patients with heart problems. And this all started because his dad died of a heart attack, and so that's where he started to get these ideas from. And so that idea then led to him developing the drug propranolol, which then won him a Nobel Prize, and he did that at the company ICI Pharmaceuticals. And then this created a whole new class of drugs called beta blockers.
Oh wow, that's so interesting. It's so crazy to think that a drug that was developed not that long ago is now so widely used and having such an impact.
I totally agree. Now I have another question. I took a chem class or 2 back in my day, but that by no means makes me an expert. But would you be able to talk about how the drug is made? No problem, John. So the synthesis of metoprolol can be carried out by reacting 4,2-methoxyethylphenol with epichlorohydride in the presence of a base. The product of this reaction will be 1,2-epoxy-3, 4'2-methoxyethylphenoxypropane.
This is then reacted further with isopropylamine, and through an epoxide ring opening, you generate metoprolol. And this is found as a racemic mixture in its drug form. You know what's funny, Rachel? That is exactly what I was telling John earlier when he asked me the same question as we were getting ready for today.
Yeah, it's true. She just didn't explain it as well as you guys did, so I was a little confused.
So, Rachel and Elliot, how exactly does metoprolol work in the body, and what are the side effects? So, metoprolol is what is known as a beta blocker. It is lipophilic, cardioselective, and it exhibits selectivity towards beta-1 adrenergic receptors, which is a type of receptor that predominates in the cardiac muscle. Beta-1 adrenergic receptors are GPCR receptors that trigger the activation of pKa in the heart. So metoprolol works by inhibiting the pKa signaling pathway.
The blocking of the beta-1 adrenergic receptor in heart muscle cells reduces sodium ion uptake and slows potassium ion release.
It also suppresses atrial fibrillation by suppressing the norepinephrine-induced increase in calcium ion leak in the sarcoplasmic reticulum and the spontaneous calcium ion release from the sarcoplasmic reticulum.
The side effects include dizziness, depression, nausea, dry mouth, stomach pain, vomiting, gas, or bloating.
So it says here that pharmacodynamics and pharmacokinetics are, something important. Is there any chance you could tell us about that?
Absolutely. So pharmacokinetics is the study of what our body does to the drug, and pharmacodynamics is the study of what the drug does to our body. So metoprolol is metabolized by cytochrome liver enzymes and undergoes O-demethylation and alpha-hydroxylation. Metoprolol causes a reduction in heart rate and cardiac output based on the prescribed dose.
So metoprolol can be administered in two forms. Metoprolol tartrate is an immediate release formulation, and metoprolol succinate is an extended release formulation. It is administered orally, both of them are, and the bioavailability of metoprolol tartrate is 50%, which is normally taken with food, and then the bioavailability of metoprolol succinate is 40%.
Metoprolol is able to cross the blood-brain barrier and has a volume of distribution of 4.2 liters per kilogram. While some does bind to serum albumin in the blood, only about 11% of administered drug is found to bind to this protein. And metoprolol is eliminated fairly effectively since less than 5% is recovered unchanged.
The dose of the drug ranges from 25 to 100 milligrams once a day for about 2 weeks or on an as-needed basis determined by your doctor.
Very cool. Now I have one more question. So it says here that from 2008 to 2018, there were over 71 million prescriptions for metoprolol in the United States. And with the average total drug cost around $28, that means that the drug netted almost $2 billion within those 10 years. I think it's safe to say that it's a pretty successful drug. It has even been deemed one of the most essential drugs by the World Health Organization. But do you think the drug could be improved upon in any way? And if so, how? So one problem with metoprolol is that it has been shown to raise blood sugar, and so that presents a problem in diabetic patients. And so a common substitute for metoprolol is the drug carvedilol. So while metoprolol performs just as well as carvedilol, it has been shown that carvedilol at times is preferred over metoprolol when a patient has diabetes or congestive heart failure.
So one possible modification to metoprolol could be to try and make it look a little bit more like carvedilol. So we would suggest that if you change the two methyl groups on metoprolol to hydroxyl groups, this would increase the hydrophilicity of the overall molecule, which would possibly also increase the bioavailability in the bloodstream.
With the overall goal of trying to make the drug a more efficient binder to the receptor.
Wow, that sounds like you guys really know what you're talking about. Thank you both so much for being here today.
It has been an absolute pleasure getting to talk with you.
Well, we wanted to thank you both so much for this opportunity, and we hope that you were able to take something away from this.
Thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. Well, that puts us at time for this interview, so stay tuned for when we come back, because I really want to know how in the world these people got caught rigging the homecoming queen ballot.
The Elliot guy was kind of cute.